At this point, I don't even know what to say. To me, the season is over. It's time to pack it up. There's no way we're going to make the playoffs at 3-5. I don't think we even have a shot of getting a wild card. There's no sign of the team improving in any way, so I really think this season is a wrap. But week 9 of the NFL, Tampa Bay playing in Carolina, our third division game of the season, and we shit the bed and lose 42-28. Now again, similar to last week, I'm not going to go too in depth on the winners and losers of the game because I have bigger things to talk about, because this team is on the decline, which is crazy to think because they've been losing, but it's getting worse and worse every single week. So if you are new here, make sure you click the subscribe button down below. If you are a Bucs fan, please subscribe. I'm doing these videos weekly and I'm trying to get like a little Bucs community growing on YouTube. So please subscribe, like, and comment. And let's get started. Now keep in mind, these winners are kind of a stretch because we looked horrible, but the first winner of the game, I have to give it to Ryan Fitzpatrick. He was 24 of 40, 243 yards, 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Solid game, can't really complain about that. I wouldn't say he's necessarily the reason we lost, but he didn't help in my opinion as well. So, you know, solid game from him, can't complain about that. Second winner, I have to give it to Adam Humphries. 8 receptions, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns. The man balled out. You could tell he really, really wanted this game. I don't know if it's because he was back home in North Carolina. I think that's where he's from, Charlotte or around that area. But he was back home, he had a lot of family there, and he really looked like he wanted to win. That touchdown where he started breaking some tackles and they had to challenge it and get it overturned, that was an amazing play, amazing hustle by him. He's one of those few people that since he's been on the Bucs, I think Lovey's last year, 2015, like he was always someone that wanted to win, and you could tell he's in the game. He's never given up, he never quits, he really plays really hard, and I really am glad that he is on the team, although he's slowly kind of, I mean, I guess he's not really getting phased out because of Chris Godwin, because he's still getting a lot of touches, but he has always been a good, reliable target for us. The third winner of the game is going to O.J. Howard. 4 receptions, 53 yards, 2 touchdowns. The man's been solid the entire season, has never really been a liability at all. There's been a couple games where he's fumbled or he's like dropped a pass in crunch time, but overall he's been great for us. He's really evolving, and honestly, he's physically like one of the most gifted tight ends I've seen in the league. Right now, I'd say the best tight end is Travis Kelce in Kansas City, but O.J. Howard physically, I would say, is probably a little more gifted than Travis Kelce. And I think in the long run, O.J. Howard could be one of the best tight ends in the NFL and maybe really rival a lot of the greatest of all time. I'm not going to say he's going to be the greatest of all time, but he could be in that top 15, 20 category if he keeps advancing the way he has. He's physically a monster, big, fast, good hands, and he's just a very reliable target as well, and it's only going to get better from here. Now going into the losers, the Bucs defense is the first loser. We gave up about 130 plus yards for rushing. Cam threw like 240 yards. I think we gave up around 420 yards in the game, which isn't a crazy amount, but it's still a lot because honestly, I thought the number was a lot higher because Carolina was running up and down on us the whole entire first half, and then that one drive in the fourth quarter. But horrible game. We couldn't stop anything. I looked up the stats and I saw that Brent Grimes had 1 pass defense, and that was the only pass defense in the entire game, which is absolutely unacceptable. I know people said Mark Duffner came in and kind of made the defense a little better, but I haven't really seen that at all. We're still giving up a lot of points, a lot of yards, and we really can't stop anybody. You know, Carolina is a run-heavy team, and it seemed like we were unprepared. Now, shout out to Carolina because a lot of their run plays were very creative, and they were doing a lot of tosses and reverses and all these things that were really throwing off the defense, but the defense couldn't tackle. A lot of those yards should not have come. We just can't stop anybody. We don't know how to wrap up. They've been breaking tackles up and down the field on us. It was just an overall bad outing by the defense. I don't know how many times we could say that this season, but I think, you know, it hasn't gotten better. We haven't seen any glimpses of it getting better. The second loser of the game is Dirk Cutter. Now, I know a lot of people like Dirk Cutter, a lot of people don't. I'm personally now on the bandwagon that Dirk Cutter has to go at the end of the season. He has not shown me that he knows how to make game time decisions in game. For example, challenging, almost not challenging that play by Humphries. I know that Eric Reed was on the ground, there was time, there was a commercial break, and then he challenged right before the snap. Like, you should have been able to challenge quicker. I think he gets nervous. I don't know. He just, I don't know. And then like his decision to have that fake punt in the first half makes sense, but it was 4th and 9, and I think the drive before we had like 4th and 2, and they didn't fake punt. Like at this point, Dirk Cutter seems very desperate and he doesn't know what to do, and I think players are starting to realize that. And then another thing that really, I don't know, he's just not a good in-game decision maker when we need it the most. I don't give him, like, he's not a good game manager at all. I know he gave up the play calling duty so he could be more focused on like the game things, but he hasn't shown me that he has. The best example of that is in the fourth quarter, we were down down 14 to the Panthers. I think it was about 6-7 minutes left. And instead of going for it on 4th down, he decided to punt, thinking somehow our defense is going to stop Carolina. Jason Light told us this past week that we're in win now mode. We didn't make any trades at all, which shows you that you're not really in win now mode. A lot of teams were getting good players for 3rd and 4th round picks. We didn't make any trades. We're in win now mode. And then when you're in win now mode, you're going to punt it when your offense has pretty much been on fire the whole second half and your defense hasn't really shown that they can consistently stop Carolina. Like, I thought that was a bad decision. We should have went for it. And if we didn't get it, we didn't get it. But again, we didn't have another chance. Fitz threw the pick on the next drive and then it was over from there. So Dirk isn't getting it done for me. I don't think he's a long-term answer. I don't think he's there after this season. The third loser of the game is all Bucs fans. I know every year for the last decade, we've been very hype on the Bucs. Every offseason, we draft some players we're excited about. We sign some free agents and we think this is the year we're going to actually advance a little bit, and we never do. The 9-7 season in 2016 seemed like an aberration. I feel like we had way less talent on that team, but somehow we were able to get it done. And mostly it was because the defense had that nice 5-game stretch where they were like the top defense in the league. The offense, Vincent Jackson was hurt. All we had was Mike Evans, and it seemed like every play James was going to Evans, and no teams could stop it. And we were winning, and we were literally a tiebreaker away from making the playoffs. So I don't know what it is to capture that again. Since then, we've only gotten better players. We have better talent on the roster, and our expectations have been getting higher, and for some reason the Bucs cannot deliver, and the fans are the ones suffering. I want to go to a game every single year. I live in Kansas City and I want to go down to Tampa and go to a game every year, but really it's not worth spending the money and the time to go down there because you know what's always going to happen. The first game I've been to was the 2015 Tennessee game where we got destroyed by Marcus Mariota, and then the next year I went to that Thursday night debacle against Atlanta, the color rush one where they destroyed us like 48-24 or something like that. It's just, honestly, I feel bad for a lot of Bucs fans, and I'm noticing there's a lot of hypocrisy within Bucs fans as well, and I think the losing does that. I feel like the Bucs fans always have someone that they want to blame and have a scapegoat. Typically it's Chris Conte. Conte's out. It was almost Quan Alexander this year. He got injured. It's always Gerald McCoy. Last year was Vernon Hargraves. He's not there this year. Every year we need someone, and I feel like this year it's Jameis Winston, and today's game showed us that no matter how good of a quarterback play you have, you're not going to win games. Fitzpatrick played pretty well. I wouldn't say he put us in position to win because it reminds me he threw like 250 yards, I want to say 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. People praised him. He wasn't the reason we lost. But against Atlanta, Jameis threw 395 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, had us in position to win on the final play, and Bucs fans were saying that Jameis was the reason we lost. Again, I'm not saying Jameis is a better option for us than Fitzpatrick, but Jameis gets a lot of unnecessary flack. Jameis is one of those players, when we win, Jameis looks good. When we lose, Jameis looks bad. But for some reason with Fitz, it's the opposite. When we win, Fitz gets a lot of credit. When we lose, Fitz didn't do anything wrong. So it's a big hypocrisy going on there. You know, honestly, I'm a big diehard Jameis fan. I'm wearing my Jameis jersey right now, and I feel like he's going to do well on another team if the Bucs decide to move on from him. I don't see why he would want to stay considering they benched him. I feel like the only reason he would potentially stay is if we get another coach that's really believing in Jameis. But I mean, who knows? If we get rid of Jameis, Fitz is our starter next year if he decides to sign another contract, which I'm sure he will. And again, he's not the long-term answer. It's just going to delay the inevitable of needing to sign or draft a franchise quarterback. So I feel like the Bucs are in a big mess right now. We're in a big debacle. We're really stuck in a place where the coaches are fighting to save their career, and to do so means they have to win as many games as possible, which is a very short-term goal, but they're going to get fired anyways, and if they do, we don't have a good draft pick and we won't be able to draft a franchise quarterback, so it's going to set us back 3-4 years. I don't know what the solution is. I think Dirk Cutter's in way over his head. He's not a good coach. He was a good offensive coordinator, but even looking at Dirk's past when he was in Atlanta, yeah, Atlanta had a really good offense, but Matt Ryan was not playing as well as he is now. Once Dirk Cutter left, Matt Ryan really exploded. In Tampa, yeah, we've had a good offense, but we've never been in like prime position to win. I don't know what it is to do. I think the Glazers have a tough decision to make. I think they're going to have to move on from Dirk Cutter. I don't think that they are going to move on from Jason Light, but I could be wrong. I think Jason Light has been solid. He hasn't been the best, but he has gotten us some good players we can build around, but he misses way more than he hits in free agency, and I feel like in the draft, he's been like 50-50. 50% of the draft picks have been solid and 50% have not. I mean, even if Light is gone, I won't be mad, but we need to figure out how to have like a Los Angeles Rams kind of makeover. They brought Sean McVay in, flipped the whole team around. Gurley was looking good, but he looked way better under McVay. Jared Goff didn't look great at all, and now he's like balling out and is potentially an MVP candidate. I think our offense needs a balance. I know everybody talks about we have a historically good offense, but how come that offense never shows up until we're down 14+ points? In the first quarter, we only had 44 yards of offense. We're always going 3 and out. We're getting a couple first downs and then, you know, fizzling out. And then when we're down 14-21, then the offense decides to come alive. Like, to me, that means nothing. It's garbage time. The Panthers at that point were laying back a little bit. Their defense wasn't as aggressive. And of course, it's easy to get yards. Any quarterback can get a lot of yards when you're down 14, 21, 28 points. We were down 35-7, and then the offense was like, you know what? Let's step up. So the numbers are very skewed. We don't have a run game. It's all passing. So yeah, it's like historically good yards-wise, but points-wise, it's not historically good. We're like averaging 28 points a game before this game today, and today we got 24, so that's going to pull it down. I don't know. It's not good. The defense needs an entire makeover. I think whoever we bring in as a head coach might have to be defensive. I don't know. If it's defensive minded, then we got to worry about the offense not being good. But I'd rather that, because I feel like it's shown us that no matter how good the offense is, the defense needs to be a lot better. So I'm rambling right now. I don't know what the Bucs need to do. It's becoming really frustrated. I'm at a point where I can't really get mad anymore because the season's over. We're 3-5. For me at this point, it's focusing on the future of the team. What are the moves that we need to make to become perennial contenders? I know that sounds crazy. We haven't made the playoffs in a billion years, and we haven't won a game in the playoffs in even longer, but it is what it is. So thank you very much to everyone who has tuned in. I appreciate your support. Bucs fans, make sure you subscribe. It's sad times for Bucs fans, again, looking for the draft early November, but it is what it is. I mean, the Bucs could turn it around and go on a 5-6 game winning streak, but the way they've been playing now, I don't really see it. And the defense can't get turnovers at all. We haven't gotten a turnover in a million games. I don't count the Browns turnover because that was special teams. So overall, it's a mess. We're super dysfunctional. This may be one of the worst teams we've had in the last decade, but whatever. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe. Bucs Nation as always. Time to start looking forward to next season. I'm out.
Our offense tough, our defense rough. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Ain't no other team stopping us. Go Bucs, go Bucs.